George here, and we are once again back. If you remember from the last video, we were working with the assembly system that allows us to build an animatronic live inside of the VR system of our game. But I had basically gone for a while creating these different assembly scripts, and we finished up with creating an assembly piece. And this piece is going to notify, or actually be used to store whether or not a particular piece has been used already. And really, I'm going to delete everything in this thing and just have a bool value. Let's do bool is placed and set that equal to false at first. And actually, let's go ahead and right click on this, go to quick actions, refactor, and let's make is placed a property. There we go. And I think that's all we really need to do. Over here now, we're going to take assembly piece and apply that to all the pieces that we actually have. So grab all of our pieces and make sure I only have the pieces selected. Yep. And do assembly piece. Enter. Great. And for right now, for debugging purposes, I should probably make this a serializable field or serialized field. I keep saying serializable for some reason. So now let's just check to make sure that updated. And, you know, whenever you want to catch up, there we go. Perfect. Now we can jump over to our assembly level. And now that we know the game object is good to go, well, actually the question now becomes, do we even work with game objects or should I be working with assembly pieces? So I'm going to be getting from the onTrigger enter collider, I'm going to get the game object itself. Yeah, I should probably be grabbing from the game object. So we should do, let's see, I'm testing here, other.gameObject is equal to current part. Then I would have to check to see, let's start with game objects from now. And then when I get over to assembly level, then I'm going to do a conversion to assembly pieces. So if I gotten this far, then we'll do go.getComponent, and then we'll do assembly piece. Dot, is placed is equal to true. And what we should do is, because we're already iterating through every single element, we might want to do the check to see if we're done. So let's do a bool all finished is equal to false. Actually, no, we'll do bool all finished is equal to true. I'm sorry. And then if this occurs, so at this point, I should have been given an assembly object only. Ooh, I really feel like I should be working with assembly objects here and not game objects at this point. So required for level completion should probably be assembly piece. Yeah, I'm going to make that change right now. And that's going to go here as well. Working with the game objects is just going to end up screwing me over in the long run, I feel. So if required level is equal to go, let's call this AP instead for assembly piece. Now I don't need to grab the assembly piece. I just need to say that it's true. So AP is equal to true. We can do another check. If AP dot, if not AP dot is placed, then in the next line, we are going to set all finished equal to false. So first we check to see whether or not it's complete. And if we do, we say it's true. And then after that, we're going to do a check. Actually, can we do an else check? Screw it. We'll just leave it as is for right now. Then we check to see whether or not something is not placed. And if so, we set it to be false. And down here, we need to do an if all finished. Then we need to unlock the next level. So we need to go to unlock assembly levels. We need to iterate over that element. So let's do a for each, and we'll do assembly level AL. That's going to be in unlocked assembly levels. Then we're going to do AL dot unlock assembly level. And we should probably lock this level, something that we'll be thinking about later on, I'm sure. Okay, so assembly level's good. Now I need to go back because when I call assembly snap has occurred, this is now assuming that I have an assembly piece. That is coming from assembly snap point. So here we go, we grab a correct part. We now need to do a pull for an assembly level. AL is going to be equal to other.gameObject.getComponent, and that's going to be an assembly level. And if we have an assembly level, so if AL, then we can go ahead and do this line of code right here. And we're going to get rid of other, and we're going to pass it AL. let's see, actually, hold on. Assembly snap occurred, assumes, oh, assembly piece, I'm sorry, assembly piece. Okay, copy that, paste it, and it looks like we're good to go. Okay, so let's just think about this for a second before we move on. We've got the assembly manager. The first thing the assembly manager does is it's going to take every starting assembly piece and unlock those pieces. So let's go ahead and set that up right now. So assembly manager is right here. It's going to have its starting level pieces. So we open them up. We have 2 pieces that start everything off. That's going to be the assembly level foot and the assembly level right foot. Left and the right feet. Okay, so those get unlocked now. After that, we're going to be waiting. Oh, wait, hold on a second. So when that occurs, when the assembly gets unlocked, should the colliders, should the game object become active, or the colliders? Because the colliders don't need to be registering collisions until the thing is actually active. So that's something to think about right now. So that means that our snap points need to be turned on or off. And therefore, our assembly level, what do we have access to? So we have the assembly piece and we have the assembly level. The assembly piece does not have access to the assembly snap point though. So therefore, I can't directly turn on or off assembly snap points unless I create some sort of a link between them. And I guess the real link would be in the assembly piece. So the assembly piece should hold the assembly snap point that it's responsible for turning on. So let's do another serialized field. I really need a UI interface for this to make it work properly. And we're going to do an assembly snap point is equal to nothing right now. That actually is going to be an array, and assembly snap points. So if, in case it has multiple snap points for some reason, if this object gets placed, then we should turn on or off the assembly snap point. The game object actually associated with the assembly snap point should be turned on and off. So we can do, we need to do a for loop. So for each game object, actually no, I need to do assembly snap point ASP in assembly snap points. Then we're going to do ASP dot game object dot set active and say true. We have the assembly manager. Let's bring this over here so we can see all this logic actually unfolding before our eyes. So we have the assembly manager that's going to activate the base ones by calling unlock assembly level. So unlock assembly level occurs here. They're going to be unlocked, which is equal to true. So when an assembly level becomes unlocked, assembly levels are over here, and all they have is the assembly level script attached to them. They don't have anything else going on at this point. When an assembly level becomes unlocked, though, it should be also working with the snap points that it's messing with as well. So it has assembly pieces. Oh boy, okay, I'm trying to think. So the assembly level that are unlocked now, the assembly levels are assembly level L foot and R foot. And they have required for level completion, and then they also have unlock assembly levels. So assembly level L foot requires the assembly piece L foot to be finished, and assembly level R foot requires the arm foot assembly piece to be finished. Now, when it has those, it's going to then have unlocked assembly level R shin, and then unlocked assembly level whatever the next one happens to be. And the same thing with the next ones. They're going to have, when it does end up having that required for completion, so the player moves their stuff over on trigger enter, we grab the assembly piece. All right, you know what? Let's just screw with this thing and see what happens. So I'm going to start taking all these pieces and moving them out of the way. We'll figure this out as we move along with this whole thing. Okay, so that's the exploded view of Foxy. Now let's just see what happens if I hit run. Yeah, physics. That was very unexpected, even though it shouldn't have been. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off use gravity, and we're going to go ahead and do use kinematics and set this to continuous. So the assembly manager should have activated the two assembly levels, the foot, left foot and right foot. And actually, I should probably put a bool value in these so I can debug this. So assembly level, oh, actually I do have it unlocked and completed. So let's do that. So let's do serialize field. And same thing with that one. Come back over here, stop this and give this a second to figure itself out if it ever wants to stop, and go ahead and hit run. Okay, so now we have the 2 feet. Both of them are unlocked. These ones are still locked. So if we take this foot now and I move this, nothing happens. It should have snapped. Yeah, okay, so something's not happening. Okay, so let's turn that off really quick and take a look at our logic again. So the assembly snap point needed to have an associated, so there's correct part, which really should probably be assembly piece, now that I think about it even more. So let's just change that to assembly piece. And call that correct piece. And we're going to want to do a grab, so we'll do assembly piece. Let's do this actually. We're going to grab this line right here, bring that up here, and then if AL, if we have an assembly piece, and then we're going to check to see whether or not this is the correct assembly piece after that. So if AL is equal to the correct piece, then we are going to say that we're going to pop this thing to the right location instead of other.gameObject.transform. Actually, no, it can be that, although we can just do al.gameObject.transform.position is equal to this.transform.position, and then we can get rid of this if AL check because we know we already have it. So that's good, and there's that as well. Let's go and see, now I need to assign the correct assembly, correct pieces to each snap point. So going back to the snap points, which are here, I'm gonna blaze through this really quick so you don't have to watch it. Okay, so now that's set up. Now we need the associated assembly levels that these things are going to belong to. And now I'm kind of wondering if I need to do that. There are a lot of associations here, and I feel like I should be able to automate this process a little bit inside of the scripts themselves. See, the assembly pieces should be associated with an assembly level. Therefore, I can then get all of the assembly levels that I'm associated with from the assembly pieces. Really, it should only be one, though, technically, whatever my associated piece is. But the piece should probably hold the level, not the snap point itself. So coming over to this, we're going to go to assembly piece, and then we have assembly snap point that we're associated with. We should also be associated with a snap level. Assembly level and assembly level. We're only going to have that be one level. We're not going to have multiple ones. Snap Manager at the beginning of everything is going to grab all of the assembly pieces, period. Get components, or get game object dot get dot find game objects of type, and this is going to be assembly piece. Now that it has all the assembly pieces, it can iterate over all of them and set up the other game objects appropriately so that I don't need to do it inside the inspector. So let's do for each assembly piece in assembly pieces, we're going to do piece dot, and actually I think I need to make accessors for this. So yeah, I don't have this. I need a setter for this. So let's right click quick actions. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the setter. That should not be something that I mess with. Now I can do dot assembly level, and I now need to make it so that this adds itself to the assembly level. Basically all I'm doing is making it so that I have less stuff to put inside of the inspector. No longer inside the inspector do I need to specify each assembly piece. Each assembly piece is going to have that information itself, and then it will flood, it will populate the proper assembly level that it's associated with here. So it's kind of the reverse. Instead of the assembly levels knowing all the pieces, which they will know, I'm just making it so that the assembly pieces then flood the assembly levels with, hey, I'm a part of you, you need to know about me. And actually, at this point, I need to change this over to, I'm going to do a list of assembly pieces. Required pieces for completion. Let's just do that. And now we can make a function for this and just do a public void add assembly piece. And we'll do required dot add and piece. And now we just need to make a couple small changes down here. Required for completion there and there. Instead of length, it's now count. And required pieces I is equal to this. That's fine as well. So that's good. Okay, so now that's one less thing that I need to worry about providing. And I know this is a serialized field, but I really I don't want to see this. Do I want to? Let's go back over here really fast, and hopefully that gets rid of it. So my assembly levels now, that's a list now, I can't see it, so just get rid of that. Save that on out, come back over here anyway, and good, that's less information that I need to worry about. All the assembly levels need to know is what one they unlock after that. So now over here in Assembly Manager, when I'm iterating over every single piece, and then every piece is assembly level dot add assembly piece, and it's going to add piece itself to it basically. And then after it's all done with that nonsense, it's going to go over here and unlock those first two assembly levels that we have begin. And yeah, okay, that's a little bit better. Let's see if anything has changed yet. I don't know if I've done anything to make it work. Oh, you know what? We don't have triggers. That's what it is. I guarantee you that's what it is. So under all the connection points, grab all of them, and is trigger is turned off. So let's turn that on. Okay, now let's run. Click on this, drag it over, and there we go. Did you see it snap and then go back? So that one's been finished now, so it's not going to work. But if we do this, snap, you see that happen? So null reference exception, object reference not set to an instance of an object. Let's double click that and check out what that is. So it's saying that, oh, my pieces are not set up. So the pieces need to know stuff. So here's all my pieces. Let's move this down. And assembly snap points and assembly level. It needs its associated assembly level. So, okay, we have not created all the associated levels yet. So I'm going to do that really quick and fast forward through that so you don't have to wait. All right, and with that, we now have all of these. I'm going to wait until the next video to actually set up all the stuff for locking and unlocking and so forth. But anyway, it looks like we're making some good progress with this entire system, and hopefully very soon in the next few videos, we'll have the whole thing completed. Anyway, I'll see you next time. So long and good night.